up, guys? So now that I got my mic worked out, I've been wanting to do a first impression video of this bike for a while. I've had it for a few months now, and it's really not what I was expecting. I mean, it was what I hoped it could be, but it actually came out so much better than what I had hoped. When I first bought this bike, it's a 2007 FZ1, the N conversion, in case anyone doesn't know. So when I first bought this bike, I was a little bit disappointed and let down with the power, which I don't know. Well, I'll give you an example of how I feel about it now. So yeah, not at all disappointed with the power anymore. I feel like my issues, pretty much all of the issues I had with this bike were with something that Yamaha did in the ECU of this bike. Because I've had a lot of super sports, and I was kind of wanting something along the lines of super sport performance, but a little bit more comfortable, something I can enjoy for the longer rides. So that's what leaned me to this. And yeah, when I first bought the bike, it was just way too mellow off the bottom, you know, and it just seemed weird. I was like, you know, this is the same engine that I had in my 2005 R1, you know, aside of different compression and slightly different cams. I mean, it's still the same engine. So I was like, you know, what gives? And it turns out Yamaha retarded the ignition timing in the first 3 gears. So as soon as I found that out, when I started doing my research, I was like, wow, okay, so, you know, reflash is definitely going to come sooner than later. And ever since I got the bike reflashed, well, I did a few things. You know, I changed the 17 tooth front sprocket for a 16 and did the reflash, gutted the cat, did the airbox mod. I did a few things to, you know, wake the bike up a little bit, and man, it is everything I hoped it could be now. So doing the ECU reflash, I mean, it is a must-have mod for this bike. And it's not, for a lot of people that say, oh, I got a power commander, like, it's not the same thing. You know, a power commander is great and all. It helps you tune your bike for your fuel mods, or, you know, adjust your fuel tables for your, you know, intake, exhaust mods and whatnot. Said that kind of wrong. But yeah, the ECU reflash is just so much more. You know, you're getting the all the restrictions that were built into the ECU, you're getting them removed. You have the option to lower your fan switch, or when your fans come on, rather. You have a few different things, a few different benefits you get from doing an ECU flash that you don't get with just having, you know, a power commander. And also there's guys that'll flash your ECU that you don't have to buy a power commander at all, which is great in terms of saving money. That's actually the route that I went through V-Cycle Nut, and I've been very happy with the tune on the bike. And ever since I got it reflashed and got a few things done to it, I was like, okay, this is definitely it's like a low-key hooligan bike. I mean, it's got all the power. It just, and factory trim, it's like the, you know, it's just locked up. So yeah, there's certain things I didn't like about the bike. Other than that, you know, that wasn't the only thing. Not too fond of the stock rear tire. I've got a 180 55 17 on the rear now, and definitely helps the bike turn in a little easier. It makes it feel a little bit more sporty. Some people wonder if the 180 is enough for, you know, traction reasons, and I mean, I run sport bike tires on this bike, even though it's a sport touring. So I don't really have that problem. I can't really speak for everybody's tire setup, but I'm running the Q3 Pluses, and yeah, traction is definitely not an issue. These are some sticky tires. Oh, what other things? The factory turn signals, they're the standard Yamaha pumpkin globe things. I had to get rid of those. I got these little Yoshimura deals now. I like those a lot better. You know, I wouldn't say that it's a bad bike because I had to change so much to be happy with it, but I am kind of picky. And ultimately, I don't feel like I've had to do a whole lot of stuff to this bike to turn it into something that's, to me, really great. I mean, this is a fantastic motorcycle. It handles awesome. It really does. It corners with the best of them as long as you got good tires on it. You know, I mean, it's not going to corner as good as an R1, but you're comparing a sport touring bike to a full-on super sport. So for what you get, for the, you know, the being more comfortable, it's hard to beat. I mean, I wasn't sure if it was going to be too much of a touring compromise to where I was going to be bored with it, but it's definitely not. As soon as you wake this engine up, it's such a fun bike to ride. The stock bars, I really didn't like the drag bars that were on there from the factory, so got rid of those. I went with these the Renthal road bars. I believe they're the super low bend. They've got about 2 inches of rise, which is up from 0 inches of rise on the stock bars, and they're pretty much perfect. Setting up the cables is a little bit of a chore to get everything to reach. I did have to replace my brake lines, but that's okay. Overall, you know, there's not a lot of bikes that I would say could be like your one bike. You know, there's a lot of bikes that are great. Like a super sport, I'll never pick a super sport as my only bike. I just can't do it. It's just too much compromise. You know, I can't ride for more than 30 minutes these days without just not wanting to be on it anymore. So, you know, this bike, I could ride this bike for hours. I can lean it into turns. Can't quite, I don't know if I could drag knee on this bike. I guess I could if I was a better rider. But, man, this thing's just a blast. It's a good all-around bike, and I feel like it really can be your one bike. And not a lot of bikes I can really say that about. You know, I had a 2012 Street Triple that that's what kind of brought me into the naked bike scene. It was such a good bike. I just wish it had more power. That was the only thing keeping it from being perfect in my eyes. I just wish it had a little bit more. Other than that, it was a fantastic bike. It really just turned me off of super sports. I got the bike on a trade, and I didn't really know what to think of it. I just, you know, I saw it. I was like, oh, it's a nice looking bike. You know, quality components on it. And after I did my research, I was like, wow, this is a great motorcycle. So yeah, this pretty much fills that void pretty nicely. I don't know where I'm going, by the way. Make sure the GoPro's still on. Yeah, I just kind of looked at Google Maps and looked for some fun roads. This is interesting. Oh, yep, I think I just rolled up into a neighborhood. Oops. Yeah, so I just looked at Google Maps and I just looked for the curviest roads on the map near me. I don't really know where I'm going. Great turning radius on this bike too. Pretty convenient.